All right, welcome everybody, and got the little co-host here for the time being. We are starting a new project, talking about knives on Sunday mornings. So we've got a couple of ways we can do this. We'll play around with it a little bit and see what works. So we've got the little co-host over here, who I don't let have knives, although he has fingernails that are like knives, in my opinion. But knives pretty handy. You can see little dude is featured in some of the videos over here. So we've got a bunch of videos over on the Amazon that are about knives, something like 66 of them. So we can take a look at some of those to kind of get the ball rolling. We're running this live on social medias. So if you're joining us live, we invite you to say hello, let us know where you're at, but also what kind of knives you like, maybe the model or the style or the types and that kind of thing. And then if you've got a favorite manufacturer or brand, that gives us something to start with. Knives are tools that a lot of people use, and a lot of people have opinions on them. I think our tastes change over our lifespans. So something that we end up having an assortment, a collection of them over time. At least many people I know do. So let's start there and see what kind of conversations we can have. Is this something that is always needed to be, yet hasn't the appetite hasn't been fed, or is this another sharp treat on the buffet that people aren't interested in? We'll run it a few weeks and we'll find out. So I'm scrolling through the 66 Amazon videos over there, which are a combination of brand new videos and old stuff, recycled stuff. We've been doing knife videos on the line for since 97. So definitely got a lot of knife videos over time, a lot of knives. I'm a big fan of them. I use them all the time for cutting things and looking cool. So we can just start with one of the pinned ones here, a 57-second video about the Glock knife. Give us some feedback. Let us know what your favorite knife is.
Taking a look at
where
the
you're
Glock
from.
81. That's the Glock knife with the serrated edge. You can see we've used this one to go into a windshield.
Oop, I did that wrong. So let me try this again. I'm going to grab the link before I open it. Now I'll open it.
Taking a look at the Glock 81. That's the Glock knife with the serrated edge. You can see we've used this one to go into a windshield already, and it really didn't do too much to the blade. It messed up the coating a bit, but the serrations are still there doing fine. I might be able to use a little bit of burr on them, and we still got plenty of edge left. But this is a great example of a used Glock 81 with the serrated edges. Super strong, great for an emergency, great for utility. Fits into its scabbard, clips out like that. Sort of hold it there and pop it right out. Otherwise, it's secured in there. A very ergonomic grip, nothing to snag on. A little hole there, so if you want to put a lanyard on, you can't. So hopefully that helps.
Actually, you cannot put anything through that hole. That's just an indent, but whatever. So that's the Glock 81 field knife. What's your opinions? How do people feel about the Glock knife? Probably a lot of feelings out there about that one. Let's see. So Defense Dad is asking if it takes Glock mags. No, but it is a Steyr-AUG bayonet. So you take off that end cap, and it's the bayonet for a Steyr-AUG. That's why the hilt looks like that. If you watch our video on chopping open a windshield on the old truck, that's the Glock knife that I cut the windshield out of the old truck with. That's part of the reason it looks like that. All right, so again, asking people to, we have a pinned post out there. We pinned a post saying good morning. Let us know what, one, your favorite type of knife is or the style of knife. And then two, if you've got a favorite brand. So you can answer one or both of those questions at your leisure Help yourself to a croissant. We have croissants over on the buffet over here on the sideboard. Lots of different flavors of coffee and teas for people that like teas. You can go check out Clover Tax channel on YouTube, on Amazon, if you're looking for some teas. And then help yourself to the free knives. We got piles and piles of free knives over there on the table. So take one. Let us know what your favorite model and brand, or like style and brand, are. Let's see. Let's just randomly pick one here. Let's talk about this knife throwing book. Is this a video?
I'm trying to get this guy to knife throw, so I got this book, Knife Throwing, a Practical Guide.
Whoops. Let's try this again by copying the link and then clicking on it. Is the audio okay?
I'm trying to get this guy to knife throw, so I got this book, Knife Throwing, a Practical Guide. Now, this one is a classic. This one is from 1973, so this one's been around for a bit. It's written by Henry McEvoy, and you've got photos, you've got some illustrations, and you've got the techniques. It's broken down to fun, the choice, how to throw it, developing accuracy, what to use as targets, tomahawks versus Bowie knives, some safety measures towards the end, talking about professionals, and then playing around with some new twists, and then talking a little bit at the end. And pretty handy little guide. This particular version is a pocket guide. There's Henry on the back, or Harry on the back. Knife Throwing, a Practical Guide by Harry McEvoy.
So back in the olden days, you didn't get to hang out on the internet. You had to read a book like that. Everybody would get together at some library, I guess, and they would read a book together like that. And it had to be quiet. It was really lame. So you're welcome. We have the new internet version of a knife conversation. So yeah, that's one of my old books. Grab that at a used bookstore probably. And yeah, I like to buy stuff like that. Interesting to see how information got sent around back in the day. So again, thanks for joining us live. The whole point of a live show is that you can interact with it. I guess you could just sit there, but if you want to interact with it, that makes it more interesting. And interact with the kind of knives you like, and then the brands. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying that when you do that, it'll be interactive as opposed to just disseminating information, which is pretty boring.
So I used some leather and some leather tools to make this cool holster. It's kind of like a pocket insert, really, for maybe a bag or something like that, where you want to keep everything oriented and accessible. So it holds this cool case knife. It's a pretty decent little knife with a lock back. Form fit with the leather, kind of get the leather wet, form it to shape, let it dry to shape, and then I sew it and then stain it. Also left room for screen light, which I don't have a battery in right now. And I'll allow the clip to kind of form into the leather as it was forming as well. And then you can put whatever other tools you might want when you're making your stuff custom. So use the simple leather tool, use some craft leather, and then leather dye, and then an oil to coat and weatherproof it. Hope this helps.
So that was something I did. I don't remember anymore. A couple of years back. And here's a pro tip. If you don't carry batteries in your flashlights, they're way lighter. Save a lot of ounces that way. So Chris from 740 is out there. Good evening. And Defense Dad joining us at last day of a mini vacation. So I don't know what kind of knives you got going on over there. Let us know. Here you go. Now it says the knife I carry most is technically a multi-tool, but it's the size of a Swiss Army knife. The Gerber arm bar drive. Let's go find out more about this. So we can use Amazon not just to look at our own videos, but you're also going to be able to open up Amazon and look for other things as well. It turns out Amazon sells more than just books nowadays. So looking for the arm bar drive. I'm guessing it's this thing. 50 people bought one of these things. It's pretty popular. And, well, we got a unisex slim, and then we got some other ones over here. I'm going to go with this one and specify. This is kind of like a Swiss Army knife, I'm guessing. So it's like a Gerber that's not a plier. 45 bucks. Oh, what's going on with this? Why is she using it all crooked? So it looks like there's, you said before that it's a drive because of the drill bit, not because of like a hard drive or a thumb drive or something. Is this a cutter on the back of the thumb drive? No. Or I mean on the back of the bit? That's not a cutter, is it? That's not a blade. It's all skeletonized. What's people's thoughts on skeletonization? You down with skeletonization, or is it unnecessary just for looks? What is up with this? Doesn't that look super awkward? Why is she doing that? And now we got some videos.
This is the armbar from Gerber. Sometimes a knife alone doesn't cut it. That's where this compact multi-tool comes in handy. It's designed to
I often like the advice of a marketing representative from a company. Then I know they know what they're talking about.
A full-size plain edge blade that closes with a liner lock. Pry bar.
A liner lock?
Striking surface.
Striking surface.
Spring-loaded scissors.
I'm down with the spring-loaded scissors. This, no way.
Corkscrew, a lever arm, foil cutter.
Oh my goodness! Come on. Well, number one, I don't want a lever arm for the corkscrew because I don't want a corkscrew. So that's like two pieces they could remove and give me something better. Does yours have a corkscrew on it, Defense Dad? Yeah. I'm not a fan of corkscrews. I had to live my whole childhood because they insisted on putting corkscrews on Swiss Army knives until like the 90s or something. So all of us had these useless corkscrews. We're trying to find uses for them, and they're stupid, useless things. I like the awl a million times better on a Swiss Army knife. So I'm not going to get one of these if it's got a corkscrew on it for sure.
Anything that comes up on there. Featuring a 2.5-inch driver with a double-sided bit.
Oh my goodness.
With the armbar cork and drive, you have everything you need to upgrade your pocket.
So I guess they're calling it the cork because it's I'm going to use this little tool instead of a wine opener. But now let's take a look at something that ain't from the marketing director of, what is she? She's the marketing and communications manager. You don't want anybody who's like ever used a tool before. You want a marketing person. So here's somebody who's a normal person who's just talking about theirs. Great volume. Oh, wait.
Boom. Wow. Pretty nice. Big enough knife for everyday
Looks about
carry.
medium size. I like the blade.
Miscellaneous
I hate
jobs
the liner lock.
Perfect. But also you have right here the screwdriver with the bit.
That's all right. Is that magnetic in there?
Flippable.
Is it
So
magnetic?
there's another lock on this side.
Kind of looked like
That's
it was.
cool. So the keychain.
I'm down with the
Looks like this is
keychains. I always think that's
flip.
a necessary thing. So I like putting a little bit of a lanyard on there.
Oh, there's a bottle opener. That's cool.
No, it
Check this
isn't.
out.
That's a waste of tool.
Hidden away
Put
over
something
here.
decent on there.
Do
Give me a
more,
screwdriver.
carry less. So, like everyday carry tool.
This is. If it was $12, I'd be down. If it was $25, it'd still be a hard sell. I'm not carrying around a corkscrew or none of that garbage, and I don't need a can opener. When's the last time you opened a can? Seriously, you can rub a can on the concrete. I don't need to open a can. It is magnetic, right on. The amber cork is the one with the corkscrew. Okay, that's definitely cool. If you can specifically not buy the one with the corkscrew, then that's awesome. I like the driver, though. I think that's actually pretty handy. I like the concept. I like the blade. So I'm giving it I don't know. The money, though, it's a little bit expensive. If it was $35, I wouldn't be bitching about it. $45 is a little high for me, but Defense Dad has one. Let us know what kind of value you get on that. It's not like they're giving anything away. And I'll bet you it's China, right? It's not Gerber, Oregon. But I'm going to give it like a 6, a little bit higher than medium, 6 out of 10. Feel free to rate that one if you want. Oh, I'll throw a link out here. So here's how this works. When we're YouTube or when we're Amazon people, we can go in here and get these fancy links like this. We're allowed to show this, right? And then if you want to buy one of these things and use this link, we get a cut. You don't have to pay nothing more. It's no less either. It's just the same price you normally pay. But if you buy one, then we get a cut. So feel free to use that. And a lot of people out there have Amazons. So anytime you're buying on Amazon, if you would consider or think about somebody you like out there, and go dig one of their links out. Hopefully they got them handy for you. But so thanks for that heads up on that one. What do people think of the Gerber arm bar, the drive? Let's see. So that was magnetic. That's a different model with the slim. That's the slim. I have a video on it if you want to check it out. Yeah, that's what it's all about. So throw us a link, or however you're a mod, so you can drop a link. Throw a link if you would. And then he said, Defense Dad says, I got it 3 years ago on sale at Father's Day for like 30. Yeah, see, for 30, I think that's worth it for pretty much any multi-tool, right? There's some technology in a multi-tool and some manufacturing. I don't want it for free, but I do want it for free. But I can understand they're going to charge for it. It's just that if it was the corkscrew model, yeah, that would have been a no sale. That being said, I think I definitely started with Gerbers. I was a big fan of Gerbers when they first came out, and they were the opposite of Leathermans, because I really didn't like the Leathermans that much. The form factor of the way that it unfolded. So I really dug Gerbers. But then by the time other stuff started coming out, I left Gerber. In fact, I left Gerber. I didn't like it for a while. And then Puppy's actually dehydrated and kind of sick right now. So anybody that wants to worry about this dog, he's sad. I'm going to be wiping his face off as we're talking here. So I got rid of all my Gerbers. And then whenever I started doing the YouTube show and tell stuff in the mid 2000s, I bought a bunch of new Gerbers just to have them for video, and I kind of like them. I definitely like the size that you're dealing with here. I don't like the larger ones still as much as some of the other brands. I think they got too much wasted metal on them personally. I don't like to carry that around. But the smaller ones, I thought some of them were pretty clever. Although I still think if I had to rate them with Leatherman, I'd probably still pick a Leatherman most of the time. I like the Leatherman tools a little bit better. And I usually like the Leatherman layout, but anymore, I don't think there's any proprietary layout. It's not like Leatherman does them this way or SOG does them this way. They all pretty much make models that have different methods of folding and stuff. All right, so we're chatting about knives for a while on Sundays. This has been very popular demand. Lots of people have been essentially demanding this every weekend. I get emails and phone calls and postcards and pages. Faxes come in, all demanding that we do some sort of a show on Sunday where we chat about sharp things, knives, maybe some axes and some chisels. We could get adjacent. Looks like Jeff is chatting about bayonets here. So, but we'll stick with sharp things and have some, what are we calling it? Blades and breakfast conversation here. And hey, if we point people at some Amazon links and you buy some stuff on Amazon, appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right. So, also, we're rating people's knives, talking about them. Throw in your favorite type of knife, right? It's pinned at the top here, your favorite type of knife. And I'm trying to find it. Your favorite type of knife. And number 2, your favorite manufacturer, if you have one. All right, so down here someplace, Jeff was saying something about favorite knives in a collection are the K31 Swiss bayonet, and then the Leichtner brand, whatever that means. So I have to go find that. We'll find out what a K31 1918 bayonet is. Is that something that they sell on the Amazon? Let's find out. Do you think they sell it on Amazon? I'd be surprised. They sell more than books nowadays. No, they don't sell it on Amazon. Oh, wait, hold on. Is it this thing? No, that's our bayonet. So they don't sell it on Amazon. So I guess we'll still talk about it. Go over here and look at it on the internet and flip over to images real quick. See how slow my internet is? I want to take a minute to thank our Patreons, because I wouldn't even have internet if it weren't for the Patreons. People make it possible for us to spend time on stuff like this. Oh, I might have one of these, or I had one of these probably. So he says that's one of his favorites, and then the I don't know, is this made by the Nigel brand, or is that a different thing? He says they're like little swords. So yeah, I remember. I mean, if a bayonet person is listening to this, they're going to get pissed, but I'm not the only one that did this. But we used to buy stuff like this at gun shows all the time and wail on them all week long until they were either no good anymore, or because we would sword fight with them. And, you can only jam on these two blades full speed, two kids smashing into them. They only last for so long and then they break. Or if you're digging holes and stuff with it and you leave it out in the dirt and it gets all rusty, you go get another one. And then you keep doing that. So I can't imagine how many bayonets I plowed through as a youngin', being dumb to them. But I also know what a bayonet can take nowadays. Or, now I know what a bayonet can take. And I hardly ever do that anymore. So, but yeah, these are neat. And I don't know, they used to be, nothing. I used to be able to buy them on my allowance money. I don't know what they are nowadays. They're probably more expensive than that. I have no idea what guns they were for, because these were just Europe bayonets, and they were always long because I guess they were riding around on horses or something. I have no idea. They made them into half swords, though, for sure. And some of them are literally swords, especially for a little kid. The only thing bad about them is they had the big stupid hole for the bayonet, so I never got to the point where we ground those off because we kind of needed them when we were sword fighting with them. Oh, let's see. Then Defense Dad is talking about that Harbor. New York Outcast is out there. Good afternoon. Good evening. I don't know if it's evening for you on the East Coast. I'm not sure how the time zones work, but it might be morning still. Voss is saying waiting for the Gerber from Nelson. I believe that's some sort of wrestling joke, pun. I don't know what it is. New York saying I haven't bought a single thing off of Amazon. Huh? I've never swam in the Amazon, so we got that going for us. But we are asking, what is the favorite type of knife, style, model, I guess, or style, I guess. And then number 2, if you have a favorite manufacturer. Some people probably just hobble knives together out of car springs and what do you call it, an anvil and some coal. But assuming you don't just hobble together your own knives every time you need one, what brand, what type? Let's see. And then we got answers to the questions we were looking at. The K31 that is known internationally as Victorinox. So you're saying that Eisenler is Victorinox? Interesting. I used to like Victorinox a lot. And then it turns out they could care less about anybody. Like, they could care less. So I really lost interest in Victorinox. Plus, there's options now. I mean, I like their tools, but they're kind of fragile. I'm going to go ahead and say it. They're kind of fragile. They're not, I haven't broke very many, but I also treat them tenderly. They're not tools, they're instruments. Chris is out there, and Foss is out there. And then Defense Dad is saying, otherwise I carry a Tanagram something folding blade. All right, so now let's find that one. I don't think I've heard of that one before. A Tanagram iron folding blade. Let's go back over to the Amazonian River website. Doesn't look like they got them on Amazon. I'll head over to the internet and look at the images of it. I'm using the DuckDuckGo as my browser, so I don't believe in the Google or the Microsoft ones. Is this it? Tanagram Iranian. I can see one Tanagram one here. There's another one from AliExpress. Tanagram, here we go. So let me get rid of folding blade. Maybe that's messing with it. Sometimes you put in too many qualifiers and you start getting weird stuff. So is it an Orion or Orion? Maybe it's a typo. Okay, so he says basically I like cheap knives. Yeah, I don't. I used to I understand them. I know people that do, so been around them, but they don't last. And unless you're like constantly losing knives, which if you buy knives that cost $8 and you lose them all the time, is it because you don't care about them because they cost $8 and you just don't need to track them? You know, if you lose them, you could care less because now you get to go buy another $8 knife and you're digging on that cycle. Or are you like most everybody I know and you never lose your knives? I mean, if you lose, most people I know who are adults and they lose a knife, it's like, dang it, I lost my knife. That's something that's unusual for me. It never happens. But so I guess some people could lose their knives more often, and that would be a case for buying an inexpensive one. But a friend of mine a long time ago now said when he bought his, I think it was like a $300 or $400 knife, he said, look, I'm an adult and I got money, and this is the thing I carry with me, and I use it like 30 times a day because at the time he was working where he was constantly opening boxes. And he's like, I want to hold a knife. You know, I want to put something in my hand every single time that I care about, that I like, that I can feel, I can appreciate, as opposed to a box cutter. And I was like, yeah, I get that. You know, you only have one run through this thing. You're going to carry a box cutter and keep your good shit at home. So unless you're constantly losing shit, carry a good thing. It's not like, how many people seriously only have one good knife anyway? Now I ended up losing 6 good knives because I'm an idiot and I lost them in SHOT Show this year. So I'm not saying you're not going to lose stuff, but when you lose stuff, it's an opportunity to try to replace it, I guess. But I lost some decent shit. I'm pissed. But aside from that, I get it. So I usually carry, well, actually, the knife I carry is pretty expensive nowadays. It was like a $50 knife, but now it's like $150 because it's old and rare or whatever. But aside from one that gets popular and trendy or rare or whatever, just I think a medium to nice knife is a decent investment. That being said, this is like, I had one that was gifted to me that was similar to this, and I get it. I mean, they're decent. It's just that you beat on them a little bit and they just fall apart, and that's that's the that's it. You know, if you beat on them, they're useless after about 5 minutes. So you just never beat on them, and then it's like treating a junky knife nice. Just I don't get it. But yeah, I get it. A lot of people, like I say, I know a bunch of people that dig the cheap stuff. Then Abigail's out there. Good afternoon. Then Defense Dad is saying, I do like my Civivi. Look at this. I'm doing a knife show on Sunday morning, a live knife show on Sunday morning, and now I'm talking about Civivis. Here it is. Civivi Elementium, though, it's my fancy knife. Let's see which one the Civivi Elementium is all about. I'm just over here doing a live show talking about Civivis. It's no big deal. Civivi's listening. I'm just saying, I'm out here doing this live show about Civivis. They're supposed to be sending me a Civivi. I have yet to see the Civivi arrive in the mail, though. So the Elementium, is that this one? Look at that. Is that handle made out of honey? Let's go down here and click on this. See if we can find any videos about this Civivi Elementium. We probably won't find any videos. Not from anybody we know. Is this ever going to open? Look how slow my internet is. I want to thank our patrons, but I don't splurge on fancy internets. What do you know? We can pause this guard. What do you know? Look at this. Look at this guy.
All right, folks, this is Gizzard Gary, and I'm here today. We have a new knife that just sent to me from Civivi for review, and that is the Elementum with polished transparent yellow Hilton handle, satin finish D2. So, all right, let's take a look. We have the classic Elementum style, but once again, This has what is called a yellow ultim transfer, so you can see through to the liners, which I think is very cool. This is a liner and it's a flipper with standard momentum, and it has a lanyard hole right here. Take a look at the blade. All right, and that is the classic Elementum blade. It's got a good feel to it. It feels a lot like the other Elementum I have. Yeah, I do like the looks of this. Let's go ahead and close it.
Oh, it's a liner lock.
I am really impressed.
Or is it a frame
Beautiful
lock?
little knife.
That's a liner lock. So that's our...
All right, let's take a look at the new Civivi Elementum.
Well, if you're playing a Gizzard Gary video, chances are you're going to find a Snob video right there.
With the ultim or ultim, or however you pronounce that handle. Now, this is the yellow transparent handle, and this is the stonewash blade. Now, this is D2 steel, and of course, this knife opens like all the other Civivis.
What do you think of D2 steel? I'm a big fan. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you got a preference? What's your opinion of the D2 steel?
Super smooth, super good action on it. I mean, just easy as can be to flip open, no trouble at all. Just a simple little flick there. Now, so you've got your lanyard loop here on it. You've got your pocket clip, which is not reversible, and it is a liner lock. Now, when you get it, of course, it comes with your stickers and instruction card, a cleaning cloth, a little Civivi booklet, and your nice soft line case for it. Just all in all, really nice little knife. Nice size, too. Now, as far as sharpness, out of the box, of course, it's razor sharp.
Seriously, that's how he ends the video? Come on.
All right, let's take a look at the new Civivi Elementum with the ultim or ultim, or however you pronounce it.
So there's our friend Snob doing a video on it, and Gizzard doing a video on it. Two of the only three videos, two of them are people we know. So that's a pretty nice one. Do you already have one of these then, Defense Dad? Let's see. So we got some people chatting about the questions of the day. What's your favorite knife style? And if you got one, what's your favorite manufacturer? Hold on, let me cough out a lung real quick. All right. I could play a commercial during that part, I guess. So $60 for the Civivi. I don't like the liner lock. I like everything else about it. Oh, no, I don't like everything else. I like to be, even though I don't ever flip the blade, the clip, I like to be able to move the clip around. Snob didn't say, but can you move the clip to either side, or is it literally just stuck to the one side? They don't really show the other side, do they? Oh, there it is. It looks like, and I don't know if Gizzard or Snob are out there, or if Defense Net knows, but it looks like the clip is on that one side. So if you're left-handed, you can go stick it. Yeah, not for me. I like the blade style. I like the flip out part. I definitely like this little part at the end here for the lanyard. I like that it screws and not rivets, so you can take it apart if you want. And I don't really like the color, but I like the handle that you can see through it. I can't handle the clip though. I cannot handle the clip, and if you throw that onto a lame old liner lock, I can't deal. I don't like liner locks. Does anybody else have a preference on locks where I won't even buy liner lock knives anymore if I can help it? Well, the knife has to be amazing for me to want to buy a liner lock anymore. But yeah, so we'll go on to, he says, I like my Civivi Elementum though, so you must have one. All right, so Abigail is saying favorite knife at the moment is the Cricket Fossil. Am I the only one that calls these crickets? But CRKT, Columbia River Knife and Tool. Let's go to, I know that they were like, why are you calling us cricket? I'm like, because it's cricket. And then they're like, it's not cricket. But, so whenever I talk to them at SHOT Show, they never understand why I call them cricket. So which one are we talking about? The Fossil, eh? Is it this one? Yeah, fossil folding tool. So, kind of I would call this like a, what to call, like somewhere between fighting and utility. Frame lock, a little better than a liner lock. Do we got any videos on it?
Ever notice that the best advice usually involves some sort of decisive...
No, but I always know the best videos are not. Oh shit, I have a video on this. So let's look at my video on this. This is an amazing video. Holy shit, is this video good. Wow, this kind of video quality. I guess I've technically held this knife from what I remember. Let's see if it opens good. Oh, you know why I picked this one up? It's super expensive, right? I think I picked this one up because it was super expensive. This is an epic video. It makes me want to watch it again and again because of how good it is. So, can we get a link to this video? Come on, man. Dang, I can't link to the video. But, okay, now I guess I technically remember kind of holding that knife. I knew it looked familiar. So, here's what I remember about it. I think if I were to put all the different knives that I fiddled with recently in order of smoothness, Civivi is at the top. Civivi's knives are like freaking butter. I don't know what they do. They cheat somehow by putting in extra ball bearings or something. Was that who makes who was that? It was, I couldn't hardly put most of the videos up because most of their stuff was switchblades, and Amazon doesn't have switchblades, so I forget now. I'm trying to think if it was it Benchmade? No. Well, maybe it was Benchmade. Anyway, somebody over there on the west end of the building had the nicest ones. I'll think of them when I'm not trying to think of them. But they were all super expensive, so it's kind of useless. And then there's that Al Mar or somebody. His knives were okay, but I would say the Cricut knives are right in the middle. Like they're not the smoothest knives by far, but holy moly, they're way smoother than some of the others. And if I remember right, this one opened really nice. Like it's not my style of looking of knife, and it's too fancy. Like I don't like all the tooling and stuff, but it was grippy. Like you could hold on to it real easy, and it was nice. Like it was super nice, and I kind of dig the blade shape and stuff. It looks pretty effective. Like I said, I'd call it somewhere between like a fighting knife and a utility knife. But the thing is, it's going to scare people. You open that thing and people are going to go, because it's not a typical knife. And then the clip. I'm not a fan of the clip. There's not enough. It's not substantial enough. And can it flip around? It's kind of hard to tell sometimes, but I don't think that clip is flipping. And I like the orientation. I'm all tip up, I guess, right? I like the hinge to be in my pocket, not at my, I don't like to grab the hinge. I like to grab the opposite end. So I like where the clip is, but I don't know if you can flip that one. It's weird that they're making so many of these right hand only. It seems handish. What is it? What would that be? Rightist, I guess. Anyhow, what do people think? The Cricut Fossil, $60. I think that's appropriate. Like that's a higher quality knife. What's the steel? Tell us. It's made out of fiberglass, stainless steel. Thank you, Amazon, for the highly detailed description. So I don't know what kind of steel it was, but it looks like some kind of ground. You can see the marks on it. So usually that's a tool steel. But anyway, I can kind of remember it. I think $60 was appropriate for this one because of the size and the amount of work they did. Now I might be wrong, and maybe they do this texturing with some kind of robot. They probably do. but whatever the technique, I'm assuming it takes more time than just polishing it smooth. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's who's a machinist. Would it be easier to machine this handle, or would it be less time to machine this handle than it's just a smooth, like a spider coat smooth handle or something? All right, so I guess if I'm asking questions, I need to go down and see if anybody's answering them. Defense Dad is saying, I actually don't like pocket clips. Uncomfortable when I reach in the pocket and the damn clip scrapes my hand going in and out. Rather have a sheath. It's interesting. So I like the pocket clip depending on the knife, because if it's really slim, I use the pocket clip to hold on to it, right? But I get what you're saying. And for, you know what I think would be even better than a sheath is having a pocket sewn into your pocket. You know how the pockets are on jeans, but those are useless because they're for, I don't know what the hell they're for, old-fashioned something. You know, they're kind of pointless up on the top of the pants or whatever. But if you had an internal pocket where you could put your knife in there and you didn't need a pocket clip, but your knife was always, you know, let's say wherever you wanted it, the back of your pocket, at the front of your pocket, at the top of your pocket, whatever. But, you know, you have your robot, so your robot seamstress, and the robot seamstress puts in a pocket where you want it, right? And if I had a little pocket in there, I could handle not having a clip. Because the clips tear your pockets to hell. They carry your pants around, you know, tear your pants up. So I get it. But depends on the clip, too. I like a wire clip, and wire clips never bother me. These kind that are just a piece of metal folded around, if they don't finish that well, then it can be annoying. Fosses doesn't like the look of the fossil. There's a lot of people that don't. Is it the organic shape of it, or is it the texture? Because I know some people don't like the organic shape of some of these, but I kind of dig the more less straight line look. Although when you do it this way, doesn't the pocket clip look out of place? Now that I'm looking at it like that, it's like the only straight line on this thing almost. It's growing on me, as I'm looking at it though. And now that I'm remembering it, it was, I don't know if it was necessarily the smoothest bearings ever. I mean, they were smooth, but because of the weight and everything, like they had it down. Like it did flip good and it opened right up. Let's see. If I carry a knife, it would be my Kershaw Cairo. I'm going to star that one and we'll go back to it. Defense Dad is saying, I open up tons of boxes at work when I'm stocking inventory, so I always want a knife on me. I've carried a knife for 38 years, since I was 10. Yeah, I got in arguments with school and parents that look, I can carry a knife everywhere. I should be able to carry it at school. Whenever I was a little kid, because for some reason I thought you should be able to carry a knife at school. What if I need to do something? I was, I just couldn't get it. But so as soon as I figured out if I didn't put it on my hip, on my scabbard on my belt, then I could do whatever I wanted. Things got a lot better. But yeah, I've always carried a knife also. Mostly a Swiss Army knife for me, though, because it was all about having a screwdriver. If you wanted to open up something, you need a screwdriver half the time. And every once in a while, scissors is nice. And then, every once in a while, you'd use a blade. But most of the time, it was just to have little screwdrivers. If they would have had multi-tools when I was a little kid, I would have been carrying around a multi-tool. So people that are parents, at what age do you give a kid their first multi-tool? I think that's an interesting question. I feel like a little kid should have one of them little baby multi-tools right when they're a little baby, just in case they need to work on their stroller or something, right? Let's see. So Chris is saying he likes that one. Are you talking about this one? I'm assuming you're talking about this one. DM is saying I have one Civivi, the Civivi Brad Zinkler Bow Jade. Let's go see if he says it's not on Amazon, but we'll find out. Looking up here, Civivi, whatever. This. I'm going in backwards order now, I guess. Okay, so maybe it's not on Amazon. Maybe you're actually correct about it not being on Amazon. Maybe. Let's go find out. Put it over here. Look for the images. Oh, interesting. I think I've seen this one. Is it because you've done something with it, or have I just seen this one before? And then it's like a jade material. Oops, let's not click on some company. Oops, what happened to it? I can't believe that one's not on Amazon. Let's go take another look now that we know what it looks like. This one's kind of like it, but it's goofy. It looks like it's broken. All right, they don't have it on Amazon. So what do these things cost? Let's go to videos. I don't see anybody's videos that I know, so I'm not going to click on any of them. But looks like it's always... No, it doesn't always have a black blade. No, I think it looks cool with a black blade, though. All right, I could see that one. Going back to images, can we tell what kind of liner, or if it's got what kind of blade, what kind of lock it has? Oh, it says right there, liner lock. Let's see, Defense Dad is saying I also carry an old-timer sharp finger in a custom cross-draw sheath. Let's see what that thing is. So here's a question. Should we have other people on this? Should it be a discussion show? Or like this, where there's just one person chatting? Oh, one of these things, huh? I think I owned one of these for a minute, and then I either sold it or lost it. I do remember owning a small one, because they make a bunch of different sizes of this, right? Like little and large. And I remember owning a fairly small one, and before I even got to ever use it, I either sold it or lost it or something, because I don't have it anymore. How big is the one you got? The one I had was fairly small, and I thought I was going to either like it or hate it. I definitely think you could use this for certain things. Like, I would want something like this, maybe this $20 one. I would want this like $20 one in my like a toolbox or something, because I could see where you could be like, oh, you know what would work perfect for this? That one old timer. And I dig the handles. These handles are pretty handy. I think this is probably a pretty good freaking knife for 20 freaking bucks, actually. How can it be bad for 20 bucks? I guess the worst thing it could be is garbage metal and like uncomfortable maybe, but I don't think this is either. Let's take a look at whose videos we got going on here. Come on, I'm not trusting something that's got a wax dummy holding on to it.
Hey guys, I'm here today to review.
Come on, you don't even have your thing the right orientation? What do you think this is? So 20 bucks, 500 bought. I think that's a pretty good indicator that it's a popular one. So we're gonna put these things head to head here in a minute. So we got this Civivi Elementium with the honey handle, and then we've got this sharp finger. Oh wait, let's also get the let's get Abigail's cricket fossil in the mix. Actually, let's do this with Amazon links. What are we doing here? There we go. And actually, what, $60? Well, 20. We could go to there is a $20. Wasn't there like a $60 version of this one though? More expensive, fancy version. And then $60. So these essentially are three $60 knives so far. All right. Defense Dad is saying yes. Yours has G10 handles and a black blade. Snob is the poor man's Gizzard Gary. I don't know. Some people would say he's the southern Gizzard Gary. He's the panhandle version of a Gizzard Gary. Abigail saying some cheaper knives are actually pretty decent. That being said, I carry a Gerber. Right on. Yeah, no, and somebody, did Defense Dad say, yeah, no, Abigail said cheap knives have their place. Yeah, for sure. Because sacrificial, like certain knives are gonna, like I used to have to arc my starter to get my car started back in the day. And I wasn't gonna carry a super nice knife and arc it, you know, essentially puts weld marks all over the back of your knife. And, sometimes you're going to destroy a blade. Sometimes you're going to do things to them that, what happened to my thing? We should probably have my thing open here. Sometimes you're going to mark up a blade or something, and yeah, you want a cheap blade for that. Maybe you're going to, I don't know, just use it in a dangerous place, like out on a lake or something. And unless it's tethered to you, having it, whenever it's in like a precarious or whatever situation, that's where you might want to bring out the cheap ones. All right, so we're going over to one of our curations. So we have lots of different curations out there. Our knife curation has 66 videos on it. I'll give you a link to this. Come on. Oh, really? That's how it's going to play around. Let's go over here and give me the dang link, man. So there's the link, and then we'll click on it. And I'll just throw the link out here for anybody that wants to click on it. Let's say you want to buy a bunch of knives today. Feel free. You're not going to get any kind of discount, but I'll get a cut, and I'd appreciate it. So if you're going to buy a bunch of stuff, maybe you're going to go buy a washing machine. Maybe you're going to go buy fancy backyard furniture. I appreciate it. Buy that off that link. Or one of these other people. They have links too. You can buy it off of their link if you want. Defense Dad is saying, when I say cheap, I mean under $40. That's a good place. I'd say that's although, I'm not saying an expensive knife is more than 40. I'd say cheap is under something, and then there's your mid-range, and then your expensive knives. I'm saying 100, 150 is an expensive knife for me. So I might move the cheap then in that case to 30, but maybe even 20, maybe 20, because you can get some decent knives for $20. And maybe I'm crazy. It's been a while, so maybe 40 is more realistic nowadays. Gunswater's lurking out there. Good afternoon. Let's see. Then we have some starred ones up here. Okay, we got the Cricket Fossil, and we got that in the running. Defense Dad added, I like simple knives, drop point blades, not a gas station knife guy. Right, exactly. And the gas station knives are the cheap ones, right? Those are usually the novelty, like it looks funny or it looks weird or it's whatever, and then you're buying that for a friend or something as a joke, or maybe, oh, I forgot my knife, so I'm going to buy one at the gas station, use it for one trip type of thing. Although I know people that dig them. I know people that really dig gas station stuff. Let's see. Defense Dev saying, I didn't see this one. Where did it go? All right, why am I missing it? Cheap Elementum. Okay, a Max Ace Kestrel. I don't know if I've heard of that one before. So is that somebody, is that the name of a designer? Oh, it's a frame lock Star Trek looking knife. All right. $169. Come on, man. What's so good about this Star Trek looking knife that makes it $169? So first off, there's like 3 of them. We're going to go with this one because it's got stars on it. So Max Ace is the name, or is the company. This is what it looks like folded, I guess. No videos. So where's Gizzard at? You can let Max Ace know. All they got to do is send a bunch of knives to Gizzard and he'll make videos of them. It's got a fiberglass handle. Interesting. This one, that's going to be a hard sell for me. I don't think I'm digging that one as much. Is that clip permanent on that side? It's hard to tell, because there could be a slot here for it. It kind of looks like there's a slot here for it. So at least they're making some concession to the left-handed. They're not handist. The blade style looks, I'm not a big fan of that blade style. I guess I get it, but this looks hard to sharpen. Am I crazy, or is that like a is that a curve there? It would be pretty tough. You'd have to be a pretty good sharpener to sharpen this one, I think. DM Foss is saying my favorite knife is the Victorinox Champ. I don't have a favorite brand. Yeah, it'd be tough if I had to pick a favorite brand. I'd be upset because then it would change to something pretty quick. Why am I not finding these comments as easy? Here we go. So the Victorinox Champ, we'll go take a look at that one. Champ, huh? I wonder what Champ has in it. Oh man, it's this giant one. Let's go to the black one because they're always cooler. So this one's got it all. So I consider the core, the two blades, and the stupid can opener, bottle opener part. And then anything else they add to it is going to be like your saws and your files. And then sometimes you do a plier or a scissor, usually a scissors. And then sometimes things like the, I guess in this case, the fish gut thing, measuring thing, and the, is that a magnifying glass? I don't understand the fish scaler, but everything else is down. I'm down with. So it makes it thick for sure, but that definitely gives you a good multi-tool. And I don't know, they're probably not as strong as some of the Gerber, Sog, and Leatherman stuff, but anybody that grew up with this stuff knows that as long as you don't damage it, like use it inappropriately, these tools are super strong and they can do quite a bit. You just have to know how to use the tool. The wide ones like this can be a bit of a different thing to hold. You're holding on a huge handle all the time, so it gets a little bit, whatever, that's a concession to make. $100 though, man, I don't know. I think for 60 maybe, but 110, that's like double my range. I know Victorinox is quality and all that, but here's a factor, and I don't know how many people bring this up, but essentially these things, you can kind of think how they're made. They're a bunch of flats going this way, and then there's these blades and stuff that pivot in and out, but that means there's just a pin going through on the top, and there's a pin going through on the bottom to hinge everything. I guess technically there's a pin going through right here, but the longer you make that pin, the more fragile it's going to get. Like, when it's right next to each other, that's like essentially like a girder, like it's super strong. You get further and further and it gets a little bit weaker, but once you get to the really long ones, the just the stunts, the ones that have every single tool in them, there's no way they can be strong anymore. They're just for looks. And I don't think this one's getting to that point, but it is getting to a point where you've got another element in play here, and that's you can torque this. You can twist hard enough with your, some blade or something to pry something and then end up torquing the thing potentially. As far as like if you did that, I think they would give you another one. I'm just not 100%. But that's definitely a lot of stuff. You got a lot of potential with that one. So I don't know what people think about $100. Did it say how many tools? But I'd say a heavy medium, like a small, large Swiss Army knife. Not the largest by any means, but definitely getting there. Well, I guess I'll scroll the bottom, see what I'm missing down here. It's a little weird when I'm by myself doing a really back and forth conversation thing because, just I'm never going to know if I hit all the comments or not. New York saying I got my last Swiss Army knife for free. Someone with too much money just left it on the riverbank. Or forgot it, huh? I got a bunch of Swiss Army knives from TSA. So I think I went on eBay probably, or maybe some other way. But essentially bought handfuls of them for pennies on the dollar. People definitely, I guess, don't value them enough to put them in an envelope or whatever. I'm super cheap, so unless the thing is, super inexpensive, I'm buying a sticker. A couple of stamps, and I'm sending the thing home to me. As long as it's an option, I don't know. I would never just abandon it to the TSA, but you can buy them all over the place. a lot of the different, like 3 of the auction places I know of, they'll have TSA auctions with, some of them are different. Some of them will just be a big pile. Here's 3 pounds of knives, and it's sort of a grab bag. You're going to maybe find something cool in there. It's sort of a gamble. But then others will say, like, here's all the pocket knives, here's all the pen knives, here's all the multi-tools, and here's all the keychain multi-tools. And again, they'll just do them kind of a lot. And then another place I know does, here's Gerber's, here's Leatherman's, here's the CRKTs, and they'll literally divide them up by brand and show you each one. And obviously that's the most interesting auctions, but you never get good deals because there's somebody that wants one of the expensive knives in there, and they'll just bid it up. But yeah, getting free knives is usually the best way to get a knife, or the best knives. I bet Victorinox. What the hell is that noise? I don't know what that is. Probably something good. Let's see. So then the Victorinox Fisherman, eh? How long have we been going? We're going about an hour. How long should a morning knife show be? Question mark. Oh, actually, I guess it's ending really quick because I didn't budget time very well today at all. So we're going to be wrapping this up with this last one from Foss. Looking forward to some feedback on if we should continue to do this series. Maybe we should do flashlights and make it an illuminating morning discussion on flashlights. The fisherman, eh? No way am I getting a fisherman. No way. One, I don't like the little squiggly fish on there. What kind of fish are you eating that doesn't have any kind of spine? That's an eel. Number 2, I don't want a fish scaler. I've never ever scaled a fish with one of these things except for like the 4 times when I was a dumb kid and I tried and I was like, oh, come on, this is a scam perpetrated on all humanity. Nobody ever uses this thing. And the measuring thing, come on, man. What kind of tiny things are you measuring with that little thing? So this useless tool, I don't like it. And I don't know what the end is supposed to be, but again, you're not really getting hooks out. Now on this end, I'll take that hook over the stupid corkscrew any day. I don't know what that hook is really for, but it's better than this corkscrew. It lets you carry things. The screwdriver is by far the best tool, and the awl comes in second. Otherwise, I'm down with everything else. Having a nice slim one like this with just scissors, but I'll pass on the scaler and the just a scaler. All right, so my wife bought them both for me. Oh, there you go. That's another way to get them. Let's see. What I'm not really a fan of is Spyderco. They're good knives. I just don't like the looks. Took me a while to not give a crap about the looks. I mean, I get you. Spydercos have a goofy, giant hole in them, but the functionality of that giant hole is amazing. And the back lock on a Spyderco is epic. So I definitely like the functionality, and I just learned to like them. Let's see. I have a bunch of fishing lures from the trees along fishing areas because you're able to pull the lines off or something with that thing. Let's see. So with that, we are wrapping it up. I didn't realize the time. Smeggy's out there saying Mora. That's a good one. Moras are great, strong, and like that drop point blade is just really strong and useful. Let's see. Penstead says between guns, photography, woodworking, and knives, I have enough expensive hobbies. Some frugal with the stuff where I can. That's a good point. And sometimes, something like a Swiss Army knife might be across the spectrum. Like you'll be able to use it for camping and for fishing, right? And for something. All right. So what we're going to do, do I have time? I don't really have time. So, well, I was planning on doing a poll to let people vote between the Civivi, Gizzard's Civivi, the Old Timer Sharp Finger, or the Cricket Fossil. But I really don't have time. I screwed up with scheduling. So appreciate everybody joining us and checking out the Breakfast and Blades. feel free to stick around and enjoy the buffet. It's 100% gratis, brought to you by Gizzard this morning. Lots of eggs on the buffet. We're not asking where they came from. We're just thanking Gizzard for them. And yeah, we'll say goodbye to the puppy who is dehydrated. And look how tired he is. He went swimming in a pool yesterday, and he's still dehydrated. A lot of people say you shouldn't have dogs on gun chats, so we're curious to see what they think about having dogs in a knife chat. He does have a razor blade, so just saying. All right, I'm going to throw a commercial up here for the store. If you want to buy something from the store, feel free. If you want to grab stuff from the Amazon links, much appreciated. We'll be back next Sunday to chat more about sharp things.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
Oh, you got to push this button.